to free the hostages and destroy Hamas. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is planning to conquer the entire Gaza Strip.
That's right. U.S. Ambassador to Israel Mike Huckabee tells CBN News that people should be praying for Israel and for the safe return of the hostages. Chris Mitchell reports from Jerusalem.
Monday, Netanyahu announced he will convene his cabinet to give instruction to defeat Hamas and free the hostages.
We must continue to stand together and fight together to achieve the war goals we have set, all of them. The defeat of the enemy, the release of our hostages, and the assurance that Gaza will no longer pose a threat to Israel. Later this week, I will convene the cabinet to instruct the IDF on how to achieve these three goals, all of them, without exception.
Those three goals come in the midst of a battle between the U.S., Israel, and Hamas over who controls getting food to the people of Gaza. Friday, U.S. Ambassador to Israel Mike Huckabee accompanied Middle East envoy Steve Witkoff to visit the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation to report on the U.S.-Israeli-backed effort that's provided more than 100 million meals to hungry Gazans in the past 2 months.
The most important thing I saw was the efficiency of the GHF operation, which, by the way, Hamas hates. They said it was their second most important thing to get rid of if they're going to have a deal to let the hostages go. What does that tell you? It's working.
Huckabee also talked to some of the people at the distribution site.
They don't want Hamas there anymore. They're sick of them. But they're also have no mood to have the PLO or Fatah or one of the other Palestinian organizations run Gaza in the future. So I think it's moving in the right direction. It's interesting that most of the Gulf states now recognize that, say that Hamas must disarm, let all the hostages go. Maybe we need to get that message to France, the UK, Canada, and Ireland.
All of those countries are calling for the establishment of a Palestinian state.
What I'd say to them is, you've given Hamas a wonderful gift. You've made it much easier for them to hold on to the hostages. Why don't you put the pressure on Hamas instead of Israel? Why don't you do something to help the hostages rather than hurt them? And why don't you do something to stand behind the country that was attacked rather than stand behind the people who did the attacking?
Huckabee's comments come after Hamas released video of emaciated Israeli hostage Eviatar David digging what he feared would be his own grave.
People want to see starvation in Gaza. Look at the hostages. That's who's being starved. And look how well fed the Hamas members appear to be.
Huckabee also called out the international media for its reporting on what's happening inside Gaza.
The coverage has been deplorable. And the sad part is most of the information actually comes from Hamas. When they say that IDF soldiers are just mass shooting of innocent people coming to the feeding sites, that's a lie. And the sad part is the international media just buys it hook, line, and sinker, reports it as truth, and they're perpetuating one of the biggest lies in all of history.
Given the challenges Israel is facing, Huckabee says people need to pray.
I hope people will recognize that Israel is in a very tough place. They need to pray that Israel can get this over with, but most importantly, pray that all the hostages come home. I think President Trump is on the right path when he says Hamas has to go. They have no future in Gaza, and I hope people will listen to the president.
Chris Mitchell, CBN News, Jerusalem.
Thanks, Chris. We heard Ambassador Huckabee call out the international media, and who can blame him? Of course, footage of emaciated Jews apparently digging their own grave with the mental anguish of thinking you're doing so, you would think would be a lead story for multiple days, but it's a blip on the screen. It's certainly got Benjamin Netanyahu's attention as he and his cabinet now plan next steps in response.